Okay, I've got something interesting. I found out right, well at the moment I'm just using my existing device, which is all this lot, and we're drawing about, well according to this Chinese thing it says we're drawing 30 milliamps. But I'm not sure if I can believe it, because according to my other analog meter, it says we're drawing about 90 milliamps. So this power supply down here, if I can get the camera right, I don't think you see it, it's on its side, but it's alternating between voltage and current. Hang on a minute, this wire's in the way of it, I don't want to pull anything off. Right, so anyway, it's alternating between 60 volts and 30 milliamps apparently, that's what it says, but my analog says 90. I'm more inclined to believe it. Now obviously I'm running my existing device through long wires at the moment because I needed to have jumper leads on it, so I can easily disconnect it without messing about, because over here what you have a new transformer, a toroid, not a toroid, what do you call them? Oh God, bloody magnets just grabbed me. That's messed everything up. Now, yeah, I've got something to show you in a minute or two. This flipping jumped out. Stupid, get out of the way, but it clicks. Flipping. Right, turn that off. Put them over there. Messed all my way up on the magnets and everything. Look now. Well, it's alright because I can show you something. Oh! Flipping neck. Right, these magnets got me. Right, here's this little tiny thingamajiggy there, right? And it's got an Alnico in the middle. Well, I'm not claiming the Alnico's helping much, to be honest, at this stage, but it's not running yet. Alright, so let's disconnect this one. Alright, I've disconnected that one, and let's connect this one up. Hang on, I'll get another jumper lead, it makes it easier. Fucking wires and everything. I need to put this underneath here, this mat, because everything keeps moving around. Right. Right, I'm going to stick that wire on there. And the other end, I'm going to connect it. That's not driving anything right now. I'm going to connect the other end to this. Now, what a difference there. Right. And we're drawing, going back to 10 milliamps. Right, now the thing I wanted to show you, which is interesting, is the pulses at the moment. Now let's reduce the frequency so I can see the flicker. Right, now you should be able to see the flicker. Hopefully. Freaking moths coming in the house now. Hang on a minute. Can't win. Where's that moss gone? Go away. Right. Now, interesting. It seems like everything's pestering me at the moment. Right. Let's reduce the frequency a bit more. Now, you should be able to see that flickering properly. Let's turn this off. Right. Well, now, when I put my neodymiums in the right coordinate, right orientation on the transformer, you should see that flickering disappear almost. Let's get this right way around, because it's aiding the Alnico. No, it's getting worse now. I'm sticking to clips now, it's getting annoying. Now, there's a really bad flicker there. Now, we should have this one around. I hate moths because they dive bomb you. Now, if I turn this frequency up, it actually, let's go here, we should be able to get this brighter just by attuning these magnets, which is basically helping the Alnico, I believe, with, I think it's about like that actually. Anyway, that is what we're getting at the moment from this thing. It's pretty bright, as you can see on my hand. I haven't got a lumen gauge, I haven't got a lumen measuring device at the moment, but according to the meter we're down to 10 milliamps. This is what this Chinese thing is saying. So, it's a lot less than what it was before. My analog meter says we're at about 30 milliamps, maybe 20, I'm not sure. It's dropping slowly. Well, you can't really tell much unless I turn the big light off. Right, I've turned off the big light, the main light, and you can pretty well see how bright that is really. This is this tiny little thing. And I'm actually driving this at 60 volts right now. Right, we're driving it at 60 volts. I need to get the door shut. Now, this is a lot lower voltage than what I was driving the big one at. Now let's see what happens if I go up to 93 volts, which was what which we originally should have been at on the big one. Let's have a look. I've got to 90 volts. 92. 92.8 should be good enough. Right, are you watching? 92.8 volts. Well, that's 92.8 volts. Which is what I normally drive the big one at. You can see how bright that is. It's made everything else around it just dim. But the transformer gets pretty hot at that, and there's 200 turns of 42 SWG wire in that core, and it gets pretty warm actually after a while. And according to this, we're drawing 30 milliamps. This Chinese thing says we're drawing 30 milliamps, which I don't believe. Because according to my analogue, we're now drawing equivalent roughly what I was drawing on the big device, which was really about 200 milliamps. So we're actually putting 200 milliamps in. So that's not very efficient, is it really? So let's bring this back down again. Let's come back down. Let's just come down to 70 volts. 70 volts there, which seems to be a good number. 70 volts instead of 60. So now we're drawing 20 milliamps. It seems to be better for the LEDs. It seems to be a lot brighter. My analog meter is dropping. I can't see very well with the lights out, unless I shine this thing over there at that, which I could do, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not very hopeful at this moment, at this point in time, because there's still a lot. I mean, this is just one tiny transformer. Now think about it for a minute. I've only got 200 turns of 42 SWD wire in this core, and I can swing this voltage between 50 volts, 60 volts, to 92 volts, right? And I'm not seeing a huge difference in current consumption, right? And we're seeing a little bit of difference in brightness. Now, it'd be interesting to see what happens when I have two of these cores in series pulsing. Remember, we're only pulsing at about 200 microseconds, or 100. I think it's 200 microseconds. So when you're sending 200 microsecond pulses into this core right now, so I'll be interested actually to maybe fill out another 2 or 3 of these types of cores. Now today, I'll put the big light on in a minute, because today I spent a considerable amount of time on SketchUp designing some bobbins, dual partition bobbins, and I actually 3D printed these, and they were not easy to get the support material out of, but they actually do fit in the core, so I can actually swap the coils out now with these. As I say, I spent a considerable amount of time on this flipping bobbin. I've got 2 of them. The first one didn't work out so well. The partition that I've made on the middle broke off, so I ended up with a single core replica of the bobbin, the core bobbin that goes inside this thing. So and anyway, but the second one, I made the coil flange in the middle a little bit thicker so it wouldn't snap off as easy, because it did break and I was trying to remove it. So I made 2 of these replicas basically of the bobbin core that goes in there. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm practicing, because I've got a whole bunch more of these like cores, but they haven't got holes in, so I'm going to have to put some holes in them to make some duplicates. Now, when I say duplicates, I do actually have some other bobbins with some other cores that do have bobbins in them, but they're not double cores, you know what I mean, where you can wind the coils separate side by side. So I was wanting to try that as well. But I do have a lot of those little transformers. Just a minute. Yeah, I've got quite a few of these, but this one's broken. This one's got a chunk missing out of it. I've got quite a lot of these actually. Most of them are intact, they're all good. This one's just an odd one. It's got a chip out of it. There's an air gap as well in it, which is interesting. This one's actually got an air gap right in the middle. Now, obviously I want to drill the centre out to put Alnicos through to do some testing with this one. Now, this one's going to be fiddly because there's no hole at all, so I'm going to have to find a way of getting a centre in on this and to get it started, and it's going to be tricky because it means I'll probably have to use something like a piece of plastic or something to guide the hole saw so it stays in the middle while I cut all the way through. Now, as I said, the reason why I was practicing with those bobbins is because these are going to need, some of these are going to need bobbins probably. Now, this is a bigger one. This is bigger than this one down here, you can see. Oops, stuck to the bloody magnet. That's stung a bit. Sharp that, it's stuck in there. Now, if you look at the difference between that one and that one, the magnets are pulling on it a bit, hang on. I don't let go of it. Anyway, if you can see the difference between that one and this one. This one's small compared to that one. So we should have a better result with the bigger ones anyway, and get more wire on as well. So just to give you a rough idea, the bigger ones that I've got a lot of they're actually 18mm, actually 19mm tall. Now there's a problem, the Alnicos are only 16mm, so they're going to be a bit short. So these actually are 16mm. If I can measure it without the magnet sticking to me, they're actually 16.18mm of these little ones, and the big ones are actually oops, that could have stuck the magnet in. So the big ones are actually 18.70mm. So yeah. Now obviously that's the reason why I chose the smaller one, because it's the right size for the Alnico. But these are bigger, so the Alnico is going to be a little bit embedded inside there. Now it's going to be interesting to see what happens with it. The Alnico being embedded in the centre of the core instead of right to the top and the bottom, you know. So anyway, that's another thing that I'm going to test out at some point. I've actually ordered some more hole saws, diamond cutting hole saws. Oh, that flipping moth went. I won't be up late tonight because daughter's coming to see me tomorrow, so I'm making this video now for Alan in case it comes on later. Okay, so here's some more of them. I have more than these. I have another 5 or 6 lying around somewhere, but this one's another one that's intact, but it needs a bobbin, which I can probably print one, 3D print a bobbin for that if I need one, because I think one of the bobbins got lost or something. Oh, actually I think I know where they are. This one's got a bobbin in it. So I can replicate these without too much difficulty. This has got a bobbin inside already, and see that's complete. It's a bit difficult to see really with the light glaring in, but there's the bobbin in that one. So anyway, and there's another one. There's another one in here as well. I think I nicked the bobbins out to do some testing or something. Actually, that's one I tried to replicate that with some magnetite. Actually, that's not a real bobbin. Yeah, that was something I was trying out. Anyway, I've got plenty more of these lying around. I put them in a different place, and I'm trying to think where I put them now. I didn't think I'd be using them. Anyway, as you can see, we've got a full set of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20 LEDs lit there. According to the meter, I'm only putting in about 90 milliamps at the moment. And like I said, let me just reaffirm, I'm not overly confident at this point in the testing. There's all sorts of other factors that could come into play really. But what is interesting is the fact that at the moment this is being pulsed with 200 microseconds. I can't even measure it on my meter. I'll show you what I mean. I'll put my meter on 20 volts AC range. Where are we? On 20 volts AC right now, and I'm just trying to get this in a good place. Now, if I put my meter across the input signal, put it on 200 volts, it's showing me 0.6 of a volt. It's not even measuring it. The output is measuring 0.2 of a volt. It's not measuring it. The pulse width is just so small. Yeah, we do actually have LEDs fully lit, which is interesting. So, anyway, the analog meters, digital meters just can't respond to the frequency. It just cannot register the frequency. And I'm pretty sure this is the reason why this Chinese thing over here is not giving me a good reading on current consumption, because it's just not able to measure those pulse. Mind you, it's going through a capacitor, another capacitor before it gets to the circuit, but it's still not able to accurately measure what's going on, which is kind of interesting. So there's something going, something interesting going on there. Now, unlike my other bubble light, this device, when this is running, it gets brighter when I turn the LED get brighter when I turn the frequency down. But with this coil, it gets brighter when the frequency goes up, which is interesting. The frequency and also the pulse width gets narrower as well. Now I can connect both together. We can have this running and we can have this running at the same time. So let's connect them both up. And you see it gets brighter. Because I've got a separate bridge rectifier on the side. It parallels up all the inputs from all these coils separately so that they don't short each other out. That's the reason why I built this bridge rectifier array. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full away bridge rectifiers on the side of this module, so I can connect 6 inputs, 6 separate inputs. So anyway, that's with the 70 volts going in right now. We've got a little bit brighter. Now let's disconnect this one. Yeah, you can see what a difference. And the actual coil resistance of this tiny transformer over here reads 16 ohms, whereas these coils in this device basically read about 2 ohms each. So altogether in parallel they're reading about I think they're reading something like half an ohm or something, or 1 ohm, when they're all wired in parallel series, because these are at one end are in parallel, the other ones at the other end are in parallel, and these 2 ends are in series. So anyway, you can see the difference. Only got 6 LEDs that are lit now on this. Let's put the other one back on. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be doing more research on these transformers for the moment to see if I can actually build a H-bridge type magnetic transformer, actually. Similar basis on this, but we're using my magnets incorporated, because at the moment they're on the outside. We can see the difference this makes. The brightness. And they're actually on the edge. So, I don't know if you can see the difference there. Actually, I can see it, but it's very, very small. And I suppose you could put the oscilloscope on the output while it's loaded down to see what's going on, but I've been a bit reluctant to do that for the moment in case of high voltage inductances from the pulses, because there could be quite a high spike on here. I'm not sure, because I'll see later anyway. I've got to hook that up to the scope and see what we're getting. Actually, I might actually do that now, because the problem is, you see, this is AC, and it's a ground issue. The problem I've got is this, right? This circuit is switching between plus and ground, okay? Which means that this output, actually it's isolated, isn't it? It's the input that could be, I could have a short circuit, you see. If I put the scope ground on one of these legs, it could short positive directly through the ground of the scope. So yeah, this is isolated. So yes, I can connect my scope to this. Yeah, alright. So I've just been thinking about that, and I was a bit worried about having a short. Now I can't put the oscilloscope on the input because of the fact that the oscilloscope is connected to ground, and my power supply that's supplying this is also connected to ground on the neutral, so it would cause a bit of a problem. But I can connect the scope to the output of this coil because it's decoupled. Yeah, because I really want to see what the waveform's like. But bear in mind, I can't be up late tonight because my daughter's coming tomorrow. So. Well, anyway, I'm just going to get a telescope. Now, I wanted to share that at the moment because of the problems I have with the oscilloscope using, not the oscilloscope, but when I put the capture thing up, the screen capture thing up with the to capture the oscilloscope on the screen and share the camera, my CPU goes wacky and it's been overheating a lot with hot weather we've been having. I'm already at 99% with the CPU in power saving mode, so I can't throttle it up right now. Now let's put this on here, let's see if anything. No, the ground is not affecting it, that's great. Ooh, right, okay, we're getting some nice spikes. But what I really want to see is the Alnico doing its business, and I'm not really seeing that. According to this though, we've got 14, hang on a minute, we do have a gain here. We have 14.4 milliseconds. Actually, there's no way that this is sending out my circuit's sending out 14.4 milliseconds. That must be due to the Alnico creating a longer duration of the pulse. Let me just check. I'm going to put my other, can I put my other oscilloscope probe on the, no, I can't put my other oscilloscope probe on the board because the ground will then be shorted through to that ground. So that's going to be bad. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll take this off here in a minute. I want to check what my actual signal going in is. I want to see what signal's going in. Take my screwdriver out. Well, according to this, the signal going in. Now that is very interesting. The signal that's going in is 200 microseconds, right? So we are seeing a gain somewhere. Now I am sending in a signal of 200 microseconds to the driver circuit, right? So 200 microseconds is switching these MOSFETs on and off. 200 microseconds, which is a fraction of a millisecond, right? Yet the output is showing us 14.6 milliseconds. I'm going to try and get this on actually. It might cause some issues. Oh no, I better not. I'll do it later when I've got some viewers. No one's watching right now. No one's watching. What's the point? So we see again. Let me think a minute. Well, I just thought it got to 28 milliseconds just then. That's curious. Well, I am seeing strange things going on here at the moment. Yeah, it just went to 28 milliseconds again there. Well, the average seems to be 14 milliseconds actually. It seems to be 14 milliseconds. That seems to be consistent. That seems to be most of the time. The peak-to-peak actually on this signal coming out of this coil is 22.9 volts. Let's see what the maximum is. Where's the maximum? Can't read it from here. My eyes are terrible. Well, the mean maximum voltage is 11.9. It's 12 volts basically. That's obviously been limited by these LEDs because the LEDs are pulling down the voltage. Now, I'll be reluctant to disconnect the LEDs because the voltage might go too high. I don't know exactly my oscilloscope. So I need to keep a load on it at all times really. But it's consistently running. My live stream page is frozen anyway. Maybe I have got viewers, I just can't see them because my live stream page froze up. Yeah. And I'm just refreshing it. Or it's also possible that because the waveform is being compressed or clipped by the load, that it might give the impression of a wider pulse width. If the pulse width has a rise time and a fall time, a few microseconds, then it could give me a wrong reading. Right, okay, well there's nobody watching, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm going to close this live stream preview window because it's taking up all my resources. Well, that is interesting. That is interesting. What's going on with the pulse width? So, I don't seem to have a very good trigger lock. Right, okay. I feel like I'm being microwaved. So friggin' wrong here. Okay, so we definitely have 14 milliseconds pulse width on the output. I've just changed the oscilloscope settings and oh, hang on a minute, let me just see if I can get the camera over there, just a sec. Right. Oops, hang on a minute. I've got my drill still on that thing. Right. Okay. I don't want to put the oscilloscope on the USB, but there's what I'm seeing. Oops. Right. It's jumping about a bit because of it's a secondary and it's a little bit noisy. But yes, if you could see from there, we are actually pulsing at 1400. We are getting 1400 milliseconds coming out. I'm only putting 200 microseconds in. So there's something very interesting going on with that. And it's obviously reactions of possibly the Alnico, maybe. Well, I'll have to push that out at some point and find out, but any gain on the output section of pulse width is a bonus, in my opinion, because that means that we're getting something extra which I need to put in, because I'm only putting 200 microseconds in. Unless of course it's the MOSFETs which are delaying switching on. Actually, if they've got a delay time switching on and a delay time switching off, that should negate any beneficial attributes to the MOSFET, shouldn't it? So I don't think it'll be that. So there's something strange which obviously needs more investigation and more testing. Now, another thing which I probably need to do is check the stoke reading while I rotate these magnets. That's what I need to find out. Let's take the magnets away. Well, it still says 14. Alright, hang on. Let's bring this magnet towards it. We're getting 100 microseconds now. More, not all the time, only some of the time. I need to bring the frequency down a minute. Now, something interesting. I need to turn this big one off a minute, hang on. Let's just run on this one. Oh my God, Alan's there. Yeah, Alan, having something interesting going on here. I've got to go to bed early tonight, so you're lucky you caught me. I was just making this video for you. I've got the Alnico in this car, and I wound it last night. And when I orientate these magnets in the right way, the LEDs hardly flicker, and it's the pulse it's helping to latch the Alnico, I believe, more. Oops. Right. Now, I need to get them pulsing less. That's better. Right. Oh wow, what was that? Wow, 42 milliseconds. I just saw 42 milliseconds. 41 milliseconds. Wow, this is really widening up my pulse width on the output. Yeah, this is definitely doing what I wanted to do. 41 milliseconds. Shit, I was at 14 before. Hang on. I'm at 42 milliseconds now. Wow. Ooh. And I'm only putting 200 microseconds in. Hang on, it's jumping around. 42 milliseconds. It's jumping around between 42 and 400 microseconds, and it's hard to get a lock. But this is definitely giving me a gain. We're currently running these LEDs just off this tiny little core, by the way, which you can't even see. This little core down here is what's doing all this work right now. Yeah, this is definitely, I'm actually increasing my pulse width with the, because the Alnicos are acting like, helping the neodymiums are helping the Alnico to latch more a longer duration. This is getting pretty fast actually. I am running this little coil, one coil at 70 volts though, and it's only got 200 turns of 42 SWG. Right. Oh yeah, I just slowed it down, didn't I? Silly me. Hang on. Yeah. Right. I forgot, I slowed it down a bit. Okay, we're about 14... Yeah, 14 milliseconds. But the input was 200 microseconds. Are you listening to me, Alan? If you're not, I'll have to type. So when I disconnect, when I connect this one and disconnect this one, hang on, oh, wrong one. Where am I? I'll disconnect this one. Right, so you can see that this one's doing all the work right now. And yeah, I can have them all in parallel. And again a little bit. But this one's still working really well, even though it's not, even though there's a big heavy load on the other end. Which is surprising, which is what's really interesting. Now, what's got me thinking, Alan, you remember I've got this massive low resistance with my device, this big thing here, right, on this output signal, right, it's drawing like 200 milliamps, right, this big thing. Disconnect the big thing, my current goes down to like 30 milliamps, and I've still got the same brightness of LEDs. So how many of these can I actually run? So I need to run some more of these coils, I think. These tiny little coils, and see, because these are only 14 ohms. These are 14 ohms resistance, right? So imagine what happens if I've got 14 of these, or 10 of these in parallel, or in series. I wonder how much more I'm going to get out. That's interesting. Because I've got all these LEDs little. The current's dropped down to about 40 milliamps or something. It's still dropping right now. How is Alan watching? I'm going to go and get an ice cream. I need coffee anyway. Daughter's coming tomorrow, Alan. So I won't be up late tonight. This will be the main test for tonight. Because daughter's coming, she's going to help me do some cleaning tomorrow before her relatives pop round to bring something round. I am finding some interesting things going on actually. It seems to me that the orientation of my magnets is not quite what I was expecting. And I'm finding out some interesting things. It's hard to explain it, but when my magnets are actually against the grain, so to speak, on the sides of the coil, I have an increased output, and I think it's because the Alnico has been affected. This flipping moth come back again. I've been plagued by a moth. Mothmen. I'm going to get coffee anyway. Yeah. Don't you think that's right? 200 microseconds input at 70 volts, and let's take the voltage down. I'm just boiling the kettle right now. Let's bring the voltage down. Let's come down to 50 volts. 50. Come on. It's running off the internal generator right now while I'm doing this. Right, this is 50 volts. This is being driven at 50 volts right now. Remember, I've got an onboard generator here, and that can only produce a small amount of current. So this is currently being driven by this coil at 50 volts right now. I've got an ice cream here. I'll show you what voltage on here. Right, the voltage going into the hang on a minute, how do I do this without blocking the view? I'm on AC here still. Right, that's the voltage going in right now. 50.45 volts at the moment. Just got an ice cream. If I drop the voltage any lower, this circuit, this board is going to produce the voltage, because this board is currently set at 40 volts. So I'm outpacing this one by pushing 50 volts in, but this board can run these LEDs without the high voltage coming in from this other board, from my supercapacitors. I can turn my supercapacitors off altogether. I mean, this is with the... Now it's running on 40 volts, right? Hang on. I think it's about 40. Oh, 27. We're running at 27 volts. 26 volts right now. Some of the LEDs have gone out. 26 volts going in, and we've got a few LEDs lit up. Now let's put the HT back on. We're back on 50 volts. Moscow on my YouTube chat. I know that I can't chat on there. Every time I try to upload the chat, the page freezes up on me. I'll just go and get coffee in a minute. Now remember, what I was saying earlier is that I'm driving this coil, right, this transformer, right, with 200 microsecond pulses. 200 microsecond pulses. But the actual output on the coil is 14 milliseconds. Where the hell's the extra milliseconds coming from? Well, Alan, I've told you before, I am useless with math. I just can't do math. If you can do the math and figure it out, I mean, I'll try and get your numbers, but I'm just going to have my ice cream because I'm roasting. It's just so warm. And I've got a nice ice cream here. It's a what is it anyway? I think it's a raspberry one. It's raspberry. First time I've had a raspberry ice cream like this. Oh. Well, I can't remember having an ice cream like this. Yummy. God, this is really nice. I'm going to have to get some more of these. Okay, Alan. Well, anyway, I'll try and get on the chat, but let me just give him that link for this chat. If I can. I'm having trouble with the live stream chat on YouTube. It gives me problems. Let me just post this link if I can. Hello, Moscow from UK. That's where I am. Good. Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't need an account name. It can come on easy. God, this ice cream is yummy. Well, it's still pulsing, by the way it normally does. You just can't hear it because these little transformers are so quiet. I'll try and get the scope on the screen, but it causes me some problems, but I'll try. Just a minute. Wait. Right, hang on, I'm trying to get the scope up. The screen, let me just put the full CPU up a minute. Right, God, I hate minicam. What is wrong with this? Just a minute. What's this? Custom area. What's this? Is this the one? That's the one I want, but I've now lost my flipping scope. Where is it? Right. Okay, I think I've got it. Right, I'll get this smaller. Right, that's the output, by the way. That is the output. I'm going to finish my ice cream. It's been so hot today, I'm eating ice cream, you see. Cools me down. Oh my God. I don't believe this. According to this, I'm using 10 milliamps. I am using computer's overheating again. Hang on. I really need to sort that ventilation out on it. It'll cool down in a minute. I've just taken the throttle off. I'll just throttle back, I mean. Right. As I was showing you, that is the output, right, we're measuring at the moment. Now let me just bring this camera up a minute. Let me show up with the computer. Right. So you're looking at the output at the moment. Why the freaking heck is it still moaning at me? Oh, it's the graphics card that's getting too hot. Hang on, let me just boost the fan up on there. Right, I'll just keep the fan up on the graphics card a bit. Right, so now if I put the oscilloscope on the input, right, let's take the probe off the output. I can't put both probes on because of the ground. The switching will short the ground from that end. So actually, will it? I don't know if it will, you know. Hang on. Let me put this one on this end a minute. Right, the input. Right, this is the input. One of the inputs. Right, this is one of the inputs. Now, we're currently driving the input coil with 100 microseconds. Now let me get my oscilloscope probe. I want to check something. to make sure we're not going to get a short circuit. I want to make sure we won't get a short circuit when I put the ground on this lead down here. And the only way I can do that is to get my meter between ground move this frigging thing out of the way. I'll put this on volts AC. Now if I click my meter on AC and put this on ground there and see if I get a short circuit, I don't know why not. 0.65 volts, 0.7. Actually, I don't think I will get a short. I think I'm going to be alright. Mind you, the frequency is so high, I don't know if it's going to cause a problem. Alright, then let's go on current. Milliamps, 2 milliamps. I'm not seeing any shorts. Alright, that's great. Well, if it's not going to short out, then I can put it on. I was a bit worried about blowing my scope up, that's all. Right, okay, so one probe is on the input. Now, I'm going to connect this other probe on the output. Where's that coil? Right, the output is on the blue trace. Right, the output is the blue trace. The input is the yellow trace. Now you tell me, according to that, I'm gaining pulse width. What a crowd. Why? Well, you tell me. I'm only putting in 200 microseconds into this coil, right? So why am I seeing 14 milliseconds on the output? My oscilloscope wants adjusting. Hang on. Trying to get this locked on, it's not steady. Steady. Right, I don't quite understand why, but yeah. Well, I'm putting 100 microseconds in pulse width, and I'm seeing well, it's actually dropped now to 200 microseconds. No, it's 14.4 milliseconds. Yeah, it's a bit glitchy on the output side, but it's definitely more coming out than it is going in on the pulse width. Yeah. My circuit's generating the pulse, Alan. My circuit got down here. And we're measuring it on the yellow channel. That's what's going into the MOSFET. Now, I was thinking earlier that maybe it's because there's a delay on the MOSFET, but then I thought, hang on a minute, the delay on MOSFETs is usually on the rise time and the fall time. So usually a MOSFET has a delay on the rise time to compensate for the a delay on the fall time. So usually that shouldn't affect the milliseconds. I mean, we're talking about nanoseconds, aren't we? the delay on the rise time and fall time of a MOSFET is in the nanosecond range. You see what I mean? So, and at the moment, I'm only putting in 10 milliamps. Well, I'll show you on my analog meter, okay? Right, are you watching? Analog meter. Remember the circuit board. Remember the Chinese thingy uses 100 milliamps. Alright? So, right, remember, I don't know if you heard what I said, remember the Chinese boost generator uses 100 milliamps when there's no load on it. So the 100 milliamps is being used by this thing down here. Right? This thing down here. This uses 100 milliamps without a load on it. And if you look at it, say I'm using 10 milliamps on the current. Hang on a minute. I don't know if I can believe it, but it must be accurate, because the other one says so right now. It's going between voltage and that and current. That's the power going out. Voltage and current. Voltage is the big number, current is a little number with the A on the end. So, yeah, I'm just a bit baffled about this. Yeah, remember this device is not running right now. It's just this little coil down here. This little thing. This thing down here is all that's running right now. I've just got the LED strapped on here. I'll connect this back up again. And you see it gets brighter. Now I'll turn the little coil off, this thing down here. Which one is it? Right. Now that's just running on its own, and that's drawing a lot more power. It's not putting out hardly anything. I'm still seeing 40 milliseconds though. Interesting. Actually, it's gone down to 100 microseconds. Ah, that's weird. So yeah, there's a lot more tests to do, I think. No, I'm putting in 100 microseconds, Alan, not 20 microseconds. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know yet. Still a lot of testing to do. I mean, I want to make a bunch more of these little coils and I don't know, it's just, at the moment, I'm just, as I say, I only wound this little coil up today as a test. I mean, I drilled a hole for the old Nico in it. It's getting quite warm. There's only 200 turns of 42 SWG wire as a primary on here, and the secondary is 34 SWG, 500 turns. Yeah, the current's dropping right down. Let me just turn this off a minute. I want to see what happens with it nothing going in. I want to see what the current level's out at. So I'm just going to disconnect it for a minute or two. Right, I just want to see what current it stabilises at on the analog meter. Well, according to the analog meter, we're using 80 milliamps. We can't be. I'm not even loading anything on it right now. Okay, well, remember I'll be in bed later because my daughter's coming in about, 12, 15 hours, so I've got to be up early in the morning, so I'll probably catch you tomorrow night. But you can watch this video again. There's a bit of it that you probably missed. So yeah, I've just disconnected it for a minute while I'm waiting to let things stabilise. Now, according to the according to my analog meter, the module that's driving it is now settling at 100 milliamps. Remember, it's charging supercapacitors, so I've got to wait for the supercapacitors to stabilise. Now, this is not running right now, okay? This is not running right now. Right, so let me show you what the analog meter shows right now. Oops. Right, without anything running, it's actually dropped to 70 milliamps. It's actually dropped to 70 milliamps on the analog. So we were drawing more than a thought. We were drawing 10, 20, 30, 40. We were drawing about 40. I think we were drawing more than a thought actually. stabilised at about, that module usually draws 100 milliamps, so that's weird. Why is it settled down lower? It's weird. Anyway, before I knock anything else over, right, so, oops. Yeah, as I say, let's not get our hopes up at the moment. Still a lot of testing to do. This little thing, I've got to go through a lot more tests yet. So I'll connect it back up again now, see what happens. Wrong one. Yeah, I'm still in the dark house at the moment, I think. Oh dear. Well, the output is still higher, the pulse width is still higher. So I suppose I better go and check the live stream, I suppose. It lagged me out a bit. Oh, I can't, there's nobody watching right now. Just checking the chat. I can't find the chat window now. Right. Well, I can't keep it open because it lags me out really badly. My stream help's done right. My stream help has done right down from the toilet now. Yeah, the microseconds have dropped for some reason. That's odd. Let's punch the voltage up to 60 again. Let's go up to 60. Right, we're at 60 volts now. According to we're drawing, this says we're drawing 20 milliamps. I just don't know if I can believe this flipping Chinese thing. I just don't believe it at all. It's a Chinese thing. It's not giving you good readings. The analog one is better than this thing. You can't beat analog. Digital sucks. Let's turn the light off and see how bright this is. Right, that's with the big light off. You can read a newspaper with that. Read this diagram. I'm just checking the temperature of this little coil. It's actually cold, which is a good thing. You can usually tell how much current something's using by its temperature as well. Nah, I don't think I've got anything much at the moment. I think it's a lot of hot air. Probably. We've still got a long way to go. Get frequency down a minute. Just brought the frequency down a bit. What frequency are we at now? 10.34 Hertz. Yes, we are at 10 Hertz at the moment. Go back up. Now we're at 19 Hertz. .23 Hertz. 23, so that's the list. That's actually 34, that. Let's go down to 20. Let's go down a bit to 23. No, 28 hertz we're at right now. Anyway, I'll have to take the scope. I'm going to take the scope off now because we've seen enough of that for now. Our pulse width is going back and down. That's weird. It's gone. Yeah, that's weird. What the heck? Is it because I've moved these magnets? So these magnets are on it is. Right, we're back at 17 milliseconds. Anyway, yeah, I think I'll call it a night.